So this is just really, as I said, this is just about being seen. You want your brand seen, right? Because we know that customers buy from businesses they know, like, and trust, but they have to know us in the first place. They have to even know that we exist. So this is all about your brand being found.
This is the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast for entrepreneurs and business owners looking for cool online tools, apps and strategies to make business easy online. My name is Nick Cree and I'm your host. Each episode features a guest expert demystifying the online universe, sharing inspirational ideas and providing tested real-world strategies to help you get the most of what's available online to grow your business today. Don't be a slave to your business, get your business working for you. Subscribe now and get some great content and ideas for you and your business today. All right, well, that brings us to an important session of the evening. This is where I get to kick back and relax a bit. Well, actually, probably not relax too much. I'll be taking lots of notes, I'm sure. But this is my opportunity to introduce to you Therese Tarlinton. She is a speaker and author, business and incubator advisor, and her sort of jam is really helping businesses to understand how to use marketing or some of these free marketing strategies to grow their business. So some of what Therese does is that she's able to secure collaborations, contras, partnerships, sponsorships with business to help them grow. She's worked with companies like Jeep, Sesame Street, United Colors of Benetton. She's become a licensing partner with, and she's manufactured under their brands as well too. So she's really lives and breathes and uses the power of partnerships to create a global business. Now, she did sell her business, and if you think that she looks familiar, you may have seen her on Channel 10's By Design series. She's been a brand spokesperson on Channel 9 News and A Current Affair, and she tells me she was not running away from the cameras on A Current Affair. It was a positive good news story, not one of those negative stories. She collaborates with producers who use her brands on shows like The Block, if you've ever seen The Block, or Selling Houses in Australia, or one of my favorites, The Living Room. Then she's collaborated with those brands there as well too. And she's also been asked to secure a sponsorship for the new Channel 9 show called Rush. So she's also been mentoring female founders. She is a Business Connect advisor and with over $50 billion worth of grants available. So if you're looking for grants, she's probably a good one to be connected with in this business space. She wrote a book called Swap Marketing Without Money, and that book alone has become an Amazon bestseller. It has won 2 gold medals, and she was awarded the Able 2022 Book of the Year. So she does walk her talk, and if you just go and have a look at her Google profile, you'll see she's got a mountain of 5-star Google reviews there as well too. So she isn't all talk, and her thing is that she does make brands richer. So we're fortunate tonight to have Therese in here to talk to us tonight. I should say too, for those that were here last week, and I told you that someone else is going to be here talking about government grants. She's had to go in for surgery, so she's not available for tonight. She'll be booked in for January next year. And Therese has kindly stepped into the place. We only organised her on Monday. So she stepped in today to come and talk to us about this thing about how to market without money. So let's put your hands together and welcome to the stage, Therese Tarlinton.
Yay. Hello, everybody. How are you? It's so good to be here. I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you, Nick. That was an amazing introduction. Wow, thank you. And so, as I said, tonight is all about sharing with you how to do marketing without money. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to step you through. We're just going to go for about 45 minutes or so. I will stop a few times during it. So please put your questions in the chat and we can have a really good discussion about the possibilities. So what we'll do first of all, and make sure the slides work. So who loves surprises? Hands up if you love surprise. Oh, I love a surprise. So this is, this is something that happened, which is when Nike and Tiffany got together and they created a co-branded running shoe. Now, and whether you like this collaboration or not, it had millions of people talking about both their brands. They were lined up down the street, they were on the forums, people could not stop talking about it. And they do this because the big brands do this because they know that 71% of us, consumers told Inside Retailer magazine that we love when brands come together and create something interesting, chat-worthy, shareable. We as consumers, we love brand value, right? We love to have something that somebody else hasn't got. And so they're not alone. There are loads of brands. This is Nike and Louis Vuitton. There's Adidas and Gucci. And this delicious combination of Absolute Vodka and Heinz tomato sauce. Even the Barbie movie had over 100 brand collaborations when it launched. And that was because they wanted to have maximum exposure across multiple audiences that they couldn't get to themselves. So the American Express, obviously a huge company, and so they deal with millions of small, medium, and large size businesses. And so they also wanted to know, is this the domain for only big businesses, or can small businesses do this as well? So they actually created the collaboration index, and that was some research, and they researched whether does the investment made in collaboration generate a worthy return? So they asked thousands of small and medium-sized businesses, and the resounding answer was yes. The return on investment took the form of increased sales, a reduction in costs, or for some companies, both. So I want you to really consider tonight, I want you to really open up your thinking a little bit more and consider whether, the piece that you're missing in your marketing strategy is to do strategic marketing partnerships or brand collaborations. But just to go on that point, what are we talking about? Are you talking about someone coming inside your business? Like, what are we actually doing here? So a strategic marketing partnership is what it says on the lid, which is you're joining forces with another company to create a marketing campaign. And you're creating something that is going to create interest for your mutual customer. And by doing this, you create something irresistible for them, and that helps both companies actually grow in the process. It is not when you have an equity partner, it is not when someone is taking a stake in your business. All of those things can happen long term, but right at its infancy, this is around what can you do with another brand to give your customer an irresistible experience. And so that's what I want you to think about tonight in terms of imagine this isn't new, right? So if you're thinking, oh, I'm sure I've seen this before, we have. I remember bugging my mum to go to McDonald's so I could get the new toy out of the Happy Meal, right? I mean, every day we buy into collaborations when we buy my Lenovo laptop with the Intel chip inside. Or I buy the chocolate chip biscuits in Woolworths, but only with the Cadbury chocolate chips. This is something that has been happening for generations. So it is not new. It's just that now with with digital and AI, we can use this in really, really interesting ways. So I want you to consider for a second, if you could have other brands influencing their customers to work with you, to shop with you, to choose you. And you could stop relying on Facebook ads. It's not the only option. You could get your brand in front of thousands of your ideal customers. You could increase your brand's credibility, and you could differentiate from your competitors, and you could make more margin. So these are the benefits of actually working together with another brand, doing strategic marketing partnerships. So do you want to know how I got started in this? I'll just give you a tiny snapshot. Yep. All right. So I was on a plane to America in my 20s. And when I got there, I saw something so interesting that I had to know more. You see, there's a company in America called Coldcraft, and it's been around for about 75 years. And it creates baby products. It's a manufacturer. So everything, high chairs, cots, strollers, nappy bags, the whole catastrophe. Now, I didn't have kids, but I loved babies and I loved branding. And so what they had done is they had done a partnership with Jeep, like the four-wheel drive companies. So another iconic American brand. And they had created the Jeep baby stroller. So the Jeep baby stroller was absolutely taking the scene by storm. Parents were loving it. It had the big pump-up tires. It had a steering wheel for a little kid with a horn and gears. It was really, really cool. And this was one of the first brand collaborations where it was actually about the parent. So most in the nursery industries, most of the licensing deals that had been done had appealed to the child. So I had like Cookie Monster on it or Mickey Mouse or something like that that would appeal to the child. This was about appealing to the parent. And so I thought this was fascinating. I couldn't wait. And so, you know, no guts, no glory. So I fronted up to the company in America and I convinced them to take a chance on a young Aussie girl and actually let me bring that brand to Australia. So that is how it all started for me. And so this partnership literally changed my future. So the day my business changed, though, was when I actually got a phone call from Huggies. So they had seen I'd done some PR. I got all this PR in all these magazines and on TV, and so they had actually seen the PR, and they gave me a call and they said, "Hey, we're loving this stroller. We've got an idea that we want to run past you." And I'm like, "Yeah, great. I'm open. Let's have a chat." And they said, "We've got an idea, and what we'd like to do is give away a Jeep to mother and baby. And so what we're looking for is, would you be willing to give us 4 strollers, and we will put your brand on the side of every nappy box in the country?" And I was like, "What?" And they were like, "Yeah, we're going to put it through Coles. It'll be everywhere. It'll be in their brochures. There'll be hang sale in the stores. It will be everywhere." And I was like, "Yes." So what they did is they put my stroller on the point of sale. It went everywhere. It had, everyone was talking about it. And so I was just a startup. I was in my first year of business, and it catapulted me into making my first $1 million in revenue, because it was marketing that I could never have afforded to do that. But by actually aligning with some brands that parents trusted, I mean, Huggies was an amazing brand for my target audience. It was a name that they trusted. Then it rubbed off and it gave my brand more credibility. And it made me differentiate from all my competitors as well. So this is, and you might be thinking, "I don't get it. Why would Huggies want to deal with you? You're a startup in your second bedroom. Like, I don't get it. Why?" Big brands need conversation. There are only so many ways you can talk about nappies before you run out of things to say, right? And what did I get out of it? I got a flood of credibility, but I also got a swarm of new customers and retailers who actually didn't know the brand existed, and they wanted to have it, you know, in their hands as well. So this was a start for me. This was something that, you know, actually, you know, really catapulted me to the next level. And so then the next step was, I was like, great, this is good. I got it in Target. I was selling it everywhere. And so then I thought, I love this. I'm going to do more deals. This is fantastic. So I had the products in Target. Then I talked to the company in America. I'm like, what else have you got? And they're like, oh, we've got some deals with Sesame Street. It's like, great. Can I bring Sesame Street to Australia? And I put it into Toys R Us. That went so well. Like all these things, all these nursery products that Toys R Us didn't have. And then because I love fashion, I had an idea. So then I was like, what about United Colors of Benetton, which was, you know, a fashion brand. So I approached Benetton in Italy, all guts, no glory, you know. And so I pitched to them the idea of actually manufacturing Benetton baby strollers. Now they love that idea so much, they put that out to tender around the world. So I was heartbroken. So I was thinking, what chance have I got? You know, a young woman in Australia, you know, by then I had an office with 2 staff, and why would they choose me? And so they put it out, all these huge, you know, billion-dollar companies applied. I nearly wasn't going to do it. And then right at the end, I was like, hell no, it's my idea. I'm in, let's go. And so I really created this campaign or this pitch around a brand extension of the parent. I was a young mum by then. I wanted to push something that was cool. I wanted to show them that strollers could be made in denim and jersey, like your favorite pair of jeans and a t-shirt. I wanted to show the advertising concept of being diverse and inclusive, which of course now is normal, but back then it wasn't so much. And I won. I won out of all the multi-billion-dollar companies and everything. I won because it was around the brand and how it could translate and what we could do together that was true to their value. And I tell you this story because I was a tiny little brand, but it was around what Benetton needed that I could provide. And if you only leave here with, you know, one little thought in your head about this and what you remember is your greatest strength is someone else's greatest need. So we as small business owners, we are sitting on a ton of assets and value that big brands need because they're big, they're hard to, it takes a long time for them to turn around. So they need the innovation. And we can provide that. We're nimble, we're fast, we can do things quickly. And so this is what I want you to remember. So someone else's, you know, your strength is someone else's need. So just to give you a quick thing, and then I sold that company. I got an offer too good to refuse. I was in Germany. I was showing the Benetton strollers. Someone approached me and said, I'll give you X amount of money. Said, that sounds like a good deal. And so I sold out. And then I thought, what could I do to actually bring this concept into other people in Australia, other businesses in Australia? So I started doing some work with Grays Online. They're an auction company. They were one of the first real e-commerce giants. They had a whole stable of brands. And so I started working with the McGrath Foundation. So they sold jewelry. They auctioned pink diamond jewelry. So we did an auction for pink diamond jewelry where the proceeds went to the McGrath Foundation. Now, the McGrath Foundation, they pushed it out to all of their followers. Their followers sent it to their friends and family. A whole lot of people came onto their website, you know, and it was a complete success. So what I want you to think about in this is like the 3-way win. So what happened? So the customer was able to get a pink diamond for next to, you know, at a very, very tiny value compared to what they would normally have to pay. So it made it achievable for a normal person to have a pink diamond. What did McGrath get? So McGrath actually, you know, obviously has breast care nurses, and they got a heap of money, which allowed them to employ more breast care nurses in regional Australia. And what did Grays get? So remember, all those people who were loyal to that charity came on the website and they bid on that jewelry, but they stayed around. And because I know how they registered, the code that I gave them and everything to actually come in, I know that they went on to spend another $3 million on that website in the next 12 months. So it was an amazing deal for all 3 parties. Everybody got what they needed. So the 3-way win. They also owned a retailer called OO, which was one of, like e-commerce. So it sold everything, online department store. And it was a tiny, tiny company. And so I knew I needed a really big idea. So there's a program on Channel 10 called The Living Room. I went to Living Room with a concept of actually, how about if we could do something that was like crazy? It was like Oprah type crazy. What if we could grant the Christmas wish of everybody in the audience? So that's exactly what we did. So we had an audience assembled, which was all deserving families from charities that we've contacted. Those audience members told Santa what they wanted for Christmas. Santa had an earpiece that went through to my warehouse. I had all the elves picking the presents, iPads, cosmetics, bikes, everything in real time. Within a couple of hours, we were at Channel 10 studios. The doors opened and in we went with all my elves, handing every single person their Christmas wish. It was amazing. There were tears, there were screams. It was the best. And when you think about it, look at the three-way win on that. So one, every studio audience member got their Christmas wish granted. Amazing. The Living Room, so it's a TV program. It actually got coverage on 2GB the next morning. It was in TV Week. It was in Industry Magazine as something that had never been done in Australia before and was being talked about. It was their highest rating episode, and therefore Channel 10 actually put up the advertising cost for businesses in the next year because it was so popular. And what did OO get? Little OO actually increased their sales by 50% in leading up to Christmas. So it absolutely, put them into the next level. And this was advertising that they could never have afforded to get on Channel 10 on prime time for, 30 minutes. It just was not going to be possible. And just one last thing, and then I'll stop. So then I thought, well, they're cool looking products, but what if you could do it with something that wasn't that attractive, wasn't as sexy? So I worked with CSR. CSR does building products, things like plasterboard, bricks, insulation, weatherboard. So, very products that need to be utilized and transformed into something amazing. They had a deal with The Block. So I was able to renegotiate that deal and actually start talking about deliverables. Deliverables are what you get when you do a deal. So things like, so now Scotty Cam has to say, the gyprockers are arriving instead of the plasterers are arriving. And so what we did, we made sure that we had underneath the scaffold all the insulation and things. We had brand everywhere. And what that is, again, so look at the three-way win. So the brand, so The Block actually got more than $1 million worth of building products, which decreased the cost of their production. CSR customers are builders, architects, engineers. And so the win for them was I was able to put products on TV for 12 weeks, new products that were coming in. And so CSR's customers, the builders, architects, installers, were able to tell customers about those products and upsell those products. So get more sales, you actually get more sales and a higher margin on those products. So they thought that was brilliant. And what did CSR get? It's a listed company. Its share price went up, its shareholders were happy, and it continues to do incredibly well. It has done The Block for every season since it started. Also, it keeps your competitors out. So you really want to take that real estate on The Block when you can get it. So this was, I guess I'm just giving you this because these are all completely different areas, and these are, bigger businesses, some are smaller, but it was all about just one idea, just one thing that you can do. So I'm just going to quickly look at the chat. Sorry, need my glasses. Sorry about that. Best stroller ever. Rochelle, yes, amazing. So cool. I love that. And Dave, how do you find the best person to talk to? Yeah, great. Always marketing. They're always in marketing. There are now complete roles called partnership managers. If it doesn't have a partnership manager, it will be a marketing communications manager. So you want somebody who's in the business of talking to other people. So always marketing communication, or partnerships are the best people to talk to within any company that you can do. But I'm going to show you some other ways to do it as well. All right, perfect. Okay. So this is just really, you know, as I said, this is just about being seen. You want your brand seen, right? Because we know that customers buy from businesses they know, like, and trust, but they have to know us in the first place. They have to even know that we exist. So this is all about your brand being found. So, and again, I'm just going to harp on this. It is the ultimate kind of three-way win. It's a 1 + 1 = 3. It is better. The deal is better for everybody involved than it would be for just one company individually. And so this is where it takes just that little bit of creativity to actually think about who you could deal with that has the same customer as you. So do you want to know how you can do this? Do you want to know? I'll give you the 3 ways that you can do this. I like it. Can I see a thumbs up? Yeah, a few more. All right, I love it. So there are 3 different types of collaboration. So the first is when you use your product or your service and you do a co-branded product, or you put 2 brands together like that. The second is when you use your knowledge or your IP and you come up with a digital collaboration. And the third is when you create something in person. So a memorable experience where people are actually involved and there and they can experience, smell it, feel it, touch it, taste it. They are the best experience. So I'm going to show you what companies just like you and I, so smaller Australian local brands are doing within this space to show you that this is completely possible. I just done one deal with, she's basically a startup. I think she might be up to about $10,000 in revenue this year. And I just got her a deal with an ASX listed company, Westfield. So it really is about you. This is completely possible no matter what size business you are. So this one, the first one is about a product and a product. So I love this little story. There probably a few of you have maybe seen this. So 4 pillars, gin and go-to skincare. So gin and skincare, not a usual combination, right? But I'm going to show you how cool it is. So this is 4 pillars gin, 3 friends who started a distillery because they really wanted to drink nice gin. And so their ambition was to get their gin in the glasses of more women. So then they had to think of who has a huge database of women that love their product and would be interested in gin, interested in having a drink. So then they approached Go To Skincare, which is Zoe Foster Blake. And Zoe's skincare is really recognized by women. It has this peach branding, really loved, great reviews, super cool. And so they created the new go-to gin. So the new go-to gin was actually, of course, peach flavored, peach scent, and it was a flavor of gin that they knew would appeal to Go To Skincare's audience. And of course, they put with it a face mask. So the face mask went with it as a sampling, element, and then the product was the gin. Now, they had a small capsule collection to see how it would go. Zoe put out 1 post and it sold out in 2 hours. So it was completely gone and they made a stack of cash. They've actually redone this a couple of times now. Again, always a capsule collection, always a small run to get that real pow, this really big punch that people can't wait to get their hands on it and they have to act fast. So this is a great example of product and product. But what if you're a service? So what if you are, a business consultant, or if you actually have, Kevin is a business growth expert. So what if you were Kevin? So this is if you are a service, what could you do with a product? So this is an interior designer and a furniture brand. So Jono Fleming is an interior designer. He was actually the style editor at a magazine, and he had a podcast. And he invited Hetty, who is the head of design for a furniture company called Globe West. And so Globe West is a furniture company. It's in Melbourne. Interior designers love them. Really beautiful furniture. And so they were always looking for how they could increase their sales. Now, Katie went on the podcast, her and Jono got on like a house on fire. And so they had an idea, which is they put it together and said, let's make Jono a designer in residence. So what they did is Jono created all of these amazing assets. So as an interior designer, he created content, so collateral on how to style a dining room table. What is the size rug you need for your lounge room? How much light do you need in a bedroom? So he created content that he used Globe West products in that content creation and put it out on his channels. Globe West was able to grab all of that content and they actually started putting it out on their channels. So their social channels, their website, their EDMs, their newsletters. They had point of sale in the stores. They had posters. Jono came into the stores. They had a VIP night and created an experience out of it. And so what happened then? So where's the three-way win? So the three-way win is Globe West customers. Actually, buying a lounge is a big decision. And so they got help from an interior designer. So they got a great decision. They got help with a great decision and felt more comfortable about their purchase. And so therefore it was a great deal for them. Globe West, well, they got an interior designer. They used his quality, his credibility to actually help. And so as a retailer, they're about sales. And so his credibility helped them get more sales and a higher NPS score, which is a score that retailers look for or businesses look for. And it's a quality of customer conversation and transaction and how likely that customer will refer you. And Jono, what did Jono get? Little Jono, who was just working out of his second bedroom. Well, I used him to create a podcast for the blog. I introduced him to CSR's biggest customer, Bunnings. And now Jono is actually the face of the Bunnings renovation series. And he worked on Scotty Cam's house at the blog last year. So, one conversation is all it took to light a fire that actually kept going. And so these are companies just like you and I that are doing it very well. And one last one in terms of, but what if you actually are a professional and you want to do a deal with an association, a chamber, a business group, like an entity? So this is a building biologist and the Australian Institute of Architects. So this is Zara. Zara had a bout of, she got cancer, and when she got cancer, she became very aware of her house and how it was built and what the materials that were used surrounding her and her family every single day. So she had some qualifications and she actually turned those into being a building biologist, which was she looked at the products that made homes healthier. So she had a curious conversation with the Australian Institute of Architects. This is an association. They exist to help their members create cutting-edge, design-led buildings in Australia. They have training and education to keep our architects at the forefront of their profession, and they have training modules that architects have to do to get a CPD point, so a point system that they have to do every year. So they put their heads together and they came up with a webinar series. So this webinar series was actually only for their members, and it was about what makes a building material healthy. Now with that, it was out, they did it quite a few times. They had it on different channels, they recorded it, they, charged people if they weren't members. And so that was about the three-way win. So three-way win. So the architect got a CPD point for actually logging on and listening and got to learn something that was impartial. So usually suppliers come and do seminars, but this was impartial. It was about all the different suppliers and how good they were. The Australian Institute of Architects, what did they get? They had a gap. They didn't have anybody impartial that could talk about a trend, which was healthy building products. And now they had a specialist that they could tap into to talk to their members, and that helped increase the satisfaction of their membership. And what did Zara get? So again, Zara is a solo entrepreneur. Well, she has now, she told me, out of that series, she had 104 architects that she is now working on projects with to create healthy homes for their clients, which is massive. It changed her company. She's now got heaps of staff and is doing incredibly well. So one curious conversation sparked all this. So what I want you to think about now is we're just going to pause for a second, right? And we can definitely answer lots of questions, but this is really about like what I want you to think about: which brands have the same customer as you, and what would you do? So perhaps you know, a yoga studio and you want to do a deal with a coffee shop, or you're, you know, so Paul, you're live streaming, you know, funerals. So who else has your same customer? It might actually be around life insurance. It could be around, you know, a few different things like that.
Funeral directors.
Funeral directors, absolutely.
So white lady, etc. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But also around what happens at that funeral time. So that could be a florist. You know, it could
Florists, caterers,
yeah,
clubs. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And Diane, with your, you know, your sleep, your pillow carrier. So it's in like what, like who else is in the business of travel? So who's talking to your customers about accommodation, about, it could be a
Travel
car
agents.
brand, travel agents. Yep, absolutely. But it could even be something where you, you know, with a car company, with a caravan company, with a trailer company. So, you know, you would probably take your pillow on your camper trailer, well, you definitely
Yep.
would. So, you know, what could you do with them? So it's really about like what brands have got the same customer as you. Don't compete, but, you know, and what could you do? So this is around what could you do? So we saw a product, we saw webinars, we saw content creation, so articles, videos, how-to guides, checklists. You know, I'm going to show you another example of an in-person one, but we saw, you know, some in-person events with Globe West. So what could you do together? So it could be, for example, you know, so Diane, like, you know, just say that you've actually got a camper trailer brand and they're doing a trade show and you could share a stand with them, you know, something like that, or give away prizes at the trade show. So what are the things that you could do with that brand? So has anyone got any kind of thoughts, questions around that? No? Okay, cool. Well, hopefully your mind is ticking. So Jeremy, many customers, many companies have my customers, fund managers, yep, exclusive high ticket brands. Yeah, fantastic. Jeremy, what do you do?
I teach people how to mute, how to unmute themselves. So we're the world's first diversified crypto mutual fund. So it's basically like, you know, what BlackRock and Vanguard do for the stock market and making mutual funds, we do that for crypto.
Okay.
So it's for people who don't have time to do the research, they don't have time to, you know, make their own trades. They just give us their money and we do it all for them.
Okay. Okay. That's a good one. That's a hairy one. Okay. Oh, you've got me on the spot. Usually I'm really, I can come up with like 10 in a row. That one, I do not know that crypto market, but I guess the whole thing about crypto is it's still investing, right?
Yeah,
It's still an
exactly.
investment. It's still an investment market. And so, you know, what other things are people investing in? It could be around like artists, you know, it could be around, you know, different types of technology stacks. You know, it could be around accountants, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just around, and you would know your customers better than me. So in terms of just it's about the customer, not anything else. It's right. Who's got the same customer as you?
Yeah, and we normally find them through the accountants and the financial planners, because the people with a lot of money and no time to manage it, they normally go to their accountant or the financial planner and say, look, I want to throw this into a stock mutual fund, I want to throw this into property, and I want to throw this into crypto. But it's just thinking outside the box, as you say, like with travel and different luxury brands and even car brands and things like that. People who have got high disposable income but no time to actually do their own research. Interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So for sure. And I'm just seeing one more in the chat. So Craig about the son's got a skateboard brand and collaborations would be ideal. Oh my gosh, so easy. I mean, you know, a skateboard brand, you've obviously got the, you know, iconic stuff like Red Bull, you know, that are actually doing amazing things. Actually, just while I'm on that point, I might just explain what the difference is between a collaboration and like an influencer. So an influencer, you know, look, influence is amazing, right? So, and I've used them plenty of times over a lot of years, and they can absolutely do amazing things for your brand. But just what I'm talking, sorry?
Oh, yeah, I'm listening. That's great to hear.
Okay. But I guess in terms of what a brand has that an influencer doesn't. So an influencer usually has, you know, an audience and a mass effect, like an influencing value within one audience, usually on one platform, maybe two. It might be like Instagram and YouTube or something like that. But when we talk about a brand collaboration, it is around everything that brand has. So when we look at, for example, Globe West, they have trucks, they have stores, they have, you know, email, they have, you know, warranty, they have suppliers, they have sales teams, they have social, they have a whole heap of things that they can tap into to communicate your partnership. Yeah. Versus, you know, an influencer, which is usually just, you know, one platform to kind of one audience. So yeah. Again, influencers are amazing, no problem about that, but that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about who's got the same brand as you. So, you know, I just did a little one for my friend. So she has a furniture brand. She was going to hire a hotel room in a different state to show her new furniture. I knew an artist that was in that state that had just been on the block. I just got him on the block. And so they had this beautiful gallery space and they wanted to know interior designers. My friend's furniture brand, all about interior designers, huge database of interior designers. So how about we put an event together? We use her database of interior designers to get them all to a space. We use his space, which is a beautiful gallery space. Therefore, the interior designers can see the furniture and they can be introduced into his artwork. What did it cost them? Some Jats and Cabanossi and a couple of bottles of champagne. That's all it cost. So it's like, who's got what you need and what have you got that you can leverage? All right, I'm going to keep pushing through just to make sure that we end on time, but please keep putting the stuff in the chat for sure. Okay, so I'm going to show you just two more quick examples, because sometimes when we do this, like there might be 6 people on this call that all kind of go, actually, this is kind of interesting. Maybe we should all do something together. So these are 3 mates. They all live in Melbourne. But, you know, it's Andrew, Darren, and Michael, and they had an idea, which was they all wanted to do something fun together. So then what they did, so Andrew takes the idea of a book out of your head and gets it into a Word document. Darren is an accountability coach. He keeps you on track for the goals you need to get. And Publish Central is Michael. And so he takes that Word document and makes it into a book for you with chapters and headings and a, you know, front cover. The Portrait Store takes a headshot that you can use on the back of your book. McPherson's is a printer. And Melinda Hurd creates a video book trailer so you can actually sell your book once you get it to market. So the 6 of these guys got together and they created the book writing and publishing package. So now I'm just going to break this down because this is where the genius comes into it. So 6 mates, all very, very small businesses. And so they all had exactly the same customer, which was authors or people who wanted to become authors, but none of them competed. So what did they give? So they gave a few things. The first thing they gave is they contributed something of value. So each of them contributed about $5,000 worth of value to the winner. So the winner got a $30,000 package. So that was probably $5,000 worth of Andrew's time or package that he was offering, $5,000 worth of printing, $5,000 worth of video. But obviously, as mostly service-based businesses, that $5,000 was, was their big cost, their retail cost, as opposed to their actual cost of goods, which was, maybe half a day of their time. So what they contributed is some value, and they also contributed their own communication vehicles. So you had 6 companies marketing this promotion, 6 Instagram channels, 6 Facebook channels, 6 LinkedIn channels, 6 websites, 6 YouTube channels, all promoting all of those 6 brands. So you've got leverage, right? Like you're pushing that out, you're pushing it out in newsletters and everything. And so you're promoting these brands. So as I said, are there money changing hands? No money changing hands. It's an agreement that we're all going to post on social, put it in our newsletter, send it out on email, I don't know, we'll do an SMS, maybe if they had that database. But it's all about what can we do to push this competition out to our followers, our fans, and what do we get? So all of us will get a database that we can use. So every single company then got to use that database to market their individual service. So they contributed one piece of value, no money changed hands. They all got the spread of having 5 other brands talk about them for 2 months. Then they got a database of their ideal customers that they could sell their individual service to. Brilliant, right? Like really clever. And that is just 6 small businesses having a curious conversation and just having a crack, just getting it done, just doing something fun. And we know as small businesses, it's lonely, coming up with all the ideas by yourself. So the ability to actually work with another brand that knows your customer, loves your customer as much as you do, is brilliant. So when you think about that one, next time you're like having a chat with some other people in this group, or in your local business chamber or whatever, like what could you do with another company that has the same customer as you? And just one last one in case you've got a physical space. So this is an artist and a restaurant. So Lara Scolari creates beautiful abstract works. Really, her paintings take like 6 weeks to do. There's so many layers. And she is a collaboration genius. She has done many over her years to make sure that her art is really commercial and is seen. So she has a deal with like designer rugs. She has a deal with Luxe Wallpaper. She's done deals with candle companies, so her is on the side of their candles for limited edition runs. So she is a very, very smart woman. So she was at a networking event and she met a guy called Matteo, and Matteo had a inner city Italian restaurant, little tiny restaurant, super cool, everybody loved it. And so they had a curious conversation and had an idea. What if they created an event for one night only? So Lara actually had her new collection. So she obviously wanted to sell her new collection. And obviously as a restaurant, they want patronage. They want bums on seats all the time. So Lara actually put her artwork in the restaurant. For one night only, they invited all of their database. So they used signage in the restaurant, signage in her gallery. They got everyone to buy tickets. And so when they got there, they got to meet Lara, see the artwork up close, hear the stories, mingle. Salvatore was the head chef, and he was so inspired by Lara's artwork that he created a signature dish that you could only get on that one night. So you got something that you could never get again if you didn't turn up that one night. So the result was the restaurant was sold out. They absolutely loved it. Lara sold a stack of art that was worth a stack of money. And Salvatore and Matteo actually got a whole heap of people who loved their food and promised to become regulars. So it was, a win-win-win. So this is about, just to wrap it up, I guess this is really about like, what is the opportunity for you? Like, what could you do if you were limitless? Or at least what could you do if, the world was your oyster and you could actually use collaborations? So this is, really about who's got what you need and what could you leverage? And if you're thinking, I don't know if I've got anything to leverage, I promise you do. And I can promise you, because I've written a list of 103 things that you're probably sitting on that you've forgotten about or didn't even realize were of value that you could use to do brand partnerships. Do you need 103? No, you need 1 or 2. But just to point out that there are so many things that you're sitting on, I have a list of 103, which I can share with you. So this is about what is the possibility. So I want you to see that these small businesses just had a curious conversation and it turned into a marketing idea that turned into a sales generating activity. So, and in the customer's eyes, collaboration, brands collaborating is fascinating to them. They're like, what is this? What is this? I like that. Sorry, I just saw the chat from a Zoom. So collaboration equals fascination. And every time you have a fascinated customer, you're more likely to get a sale. So this is just a marketing trigger to actually do something that is unbelievable in the customer's eyes. And most of all, I want you to see that, like, this is fun. This is actually fun. You know, we all went into business by ourselves because we didn't want to, work for a corporate, and we wanted to have some fun. We wanted to have a lifestyle. This is an opportunity for you to work with other businesses on a small campaign, so it's not a big risk, and do something that is fun and actually takes you out of your own, out of your own head for a little while. So I want this to be, a collective movement. I want to see more small businesses working together. That's been my aim for many years, because we are stronger together. So just to wrap it up, there's 3 types of collaborations in case you didn't get it before. So one where you use your brand or your product or your service to co-brand. One's where you use your knowledge or your IP. And one is where you use your location or your event to create an in-person experience. So I want you to see that partnerships are everywhere. It's like all of a sudden you decide that you want to buy, a red Tesla, and every time you walk out on the street, you see a red Tesla. Once you see that all the companies that have the same customer as you, you will see opportunities for partnerships everywhere. And then it's just a matter of actually having a call, having a curious conversation, working out what you've got that they need and what they have got that you need, and working out how you can create something irresistible for your mutual customer. And if you need a few more ideas, I have 47. This is my ebook, which is actually, it's available to you tonight. All these links are there as well. So I've got my link tree, which has got all of these on it. And so this is just a little ebook that goes through those 3 different types of partnerships. And there's about whatever it is, 13 ideas for each of those, more than that, 14, 15. And the other thing is I do have, so this is my book, which is Swap Marketing Without Money. And because it's Christmas and I'm feeling generous, this is my book, and I will actually offer you the audio book version. If you want to listen to it, listen to me for, 5 hours, or you can put me on speed and do me 1.5 times. But you can actually find out, this is a recipe. This is the absolute recipe. This is what I've been doing for 2 decades, and I've written it down. And you will know every single thing that you need to do to create partnerships in your business long term. So most of all, I want you to feel like tonight when we leave that, this is an opportunity for you. There is the opportunity to do marketing without money. You are sitting on assets that somebody else needs, and your customers have the opportunity to create, to feel, to see something irresistible. We are stronger together. And so I really want you to really recognize that, your greatest strength is someone else's greatest need, and it's fun. Go to it. Thank you. So now I think we're going to open up for questions. Thanks, Nick, for putting those links in the chat. That's awesome. I want to keep to time. So if anyone's got any questions that they want to ask, I can see a few. So Gary, do you offer some kind of consultation service? Gary, thank you for asking. So yes, Of course. So absolutely, you can have access to this brain full of ideas. I am really good on my feet, and I will be able to help you actually look at who are the collaboration partners for leads, who are the collaboration partners for credibility, and who are the collaboration partners for differentiation, to get apart from your competitors. That's what I do. So I have, a session where we can just work together just one-on-one once. Otherwise, we can actually work together over a 3-month period, every fortnight, where we actually look at like what you need, what are those things that you can leverage, which are the partners, how to pitch. I'll look at the emails with you, how to reach out, what to offer, what to ask, and actually get that done. So they are 2 things that are absolutely available to you. I'm on LinkedIn, or my email address is just Therese@theresetarlinton.com. Please reach out. We can definitely have a curious conversation, a little chat, and see whether we're a match to go forward with that. And I'm just quickly looking. Thank you, Maria. That's so cool. Connie, reach out to me and we can have a chat. I'm loving this, Zim. Thank you. So good. Email address. Yes. So that was, so Diane, fantastic. Brilliant. Okay, I'll just put in, so it's just simply Therese Tarlinton. I'm the only Therese Tarlinton in the world. So you can find me. I have, I don't know, 8 pages of Google results, I think now. So you can find me. I'm everywhere. And I am a Connie. I am based in Sydney. But of course, we have Zoom, we have Google Meet, we have WhatsApp, we have lots of ways that we can hang out together. It's 8:29. So Nick, I don't want to, EJ, from Wellington, New Zealand. Amazing. I actually have my first customer in New Zealand this week. Very cool. And I am meeting her when I'm coming to New Zealand in a couple of weeks. So that's great. Azim, can we have coffee? Not before Christmas, but after Christmas, I will be a lot more relaxed. So yes. And Angela, you'll be reaching out. I want you all to reach out. Please reach out. We're all in business together, right? It's hard. And so we all need to be friends and help each other. And Kate, you're from Wellington Point in Brisbane. I was in Wellington Point on the weekend in Brisbane. My mum is in Manly. So I was down at Wellington Point seeing my auntie. So that is a very nice spot in the world, Kate. So well done to you. And Aldwin, yes, I saw you at Business Blueprint. I saw your name and remembered you instantly. So thank you, guys. I really hope you really got something out of that. Can you put in the chat maybe one thing that you're going to do after hearing this? What are you going to do? What's one thing, or what's one person you want to reach out to? Open your mind. Amazing. Connie, you're going to reach out. Fantastic. That's so good. Check out your book. Yes. Well, you have the book, you have the audio book. You can listen to my dulcet tones for 5 hours and actually hear all the secrets. I like unload everything. Book downloaded already. Excellent. Angela's going to read my book as well. Brilliant. One idea can change your business. Just act on it. Yes. It's one curious conversation. And you know what? Think about this for 1 second. Imagine you got an email or a phone call tomorrow and it was from another business and they said, we're always recommending you. We're always talking to you about our customers. I've got an idea of how we could do something together. Imagine feeling that. Imagine, now they chose your company out of all the companies. They see something in you. That's what you could do for another business. So don't be afraid of reaching out. It's the greatest compliment a business can receive is another company saying, I think you're so cool. I'd love to work with you. I think we could do something cool together for our mutual customers. So, and Annie, win. Absolutely. 3-way win. Always a 3-way win. So I'm loving this. This is great. I should copy all these answers and they're so good. Love it. Anything else? So Nick, Nick, should I hand over to you?
Absolutely fabulous. Lots of accolades in the chat there, which I love. Lots of ideas as well too. So what a sensational session for our very last one for the year. And I think inspiring some of the minds of all of us here to go out and look at some of these collaborations. One of my favourite things as well too, because of course this is a collaboration, isn't it, Therese?
Yes, it is a collaboration, absolutely, because we have the same audience. So there you go.
Excellent. So not only are you speaking up, you're demonstrating it as well too.
Exactly, you've got to walk the talk.
Absolutely. All right, well, that is our session for tonight. Thank you very much for coming on, Therese, particularly as we only got it organised on Monday, so yesterday. So, and what such a good session it was as well too. Now, we do have a door prize for tonight too, don't we?
Yes, absolutely.
You want to tell us what that is?
So I have the Marketing Without Money, and it's a short course. So instead of the book, I guess I actually uncover and actually, talk you through how to do this. It's, just a few modules. You'll be able to knock it over in a weekend and actually take you step by step with all the checklists. So that is for somebody to have tonight. So Nick, if you want to call a winner.
Fantastic. All right, well, we do have our special way of drawing this. So let's get that up on screen now. We've got our wheel of names. So, of course, everybody who's here tonight, their name is in this wheel of names. I've seen a few people ducking in and out. So if they've ducked out too early and they win it, then we just go through and redraw it again. All right, well, let's spin this wheel of names and find out who our lucky winner tonight is. There we go. So let's get your hands on the tables. Virtual drum roll, please. And our lucky winner is EJ Mathers. Are you still here, EJ? Let's have a look at the, I think I see him there.
Yep, still here. Fantastic. Never won anything in my life.
Excellent. Oh, well, you're the lucky winner tonight, so well done for that. What we'll do is we will connect you up by email tomorrow, and then you can and Therese can organise how all that works and
Absolutely
get together tomorrow.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Well done.
Congratulations, EJ.
All right, and remember, if you do want to reach out to Therese, really easy to find. You just have to Google her. She's got across the first 8 pages. She's also on LinkedIn as well. She's on Facebook, so you'll be able to find her there. And of course, go to her website and go and grab those 47 ways to grow your business. It is a really good read. I've got the audio version as well too. So I have to admit, I'll be listening to you on double speed because that way I get twice as much information. And interesting, a statistic as well too. If you do listen on, well, probably double speed's a bit fast to start with, but if you do listen faster than you normally would, you actually retain more. Because your mind is actually concentrating on what's being said. So you find yourself not drifting off quite so much. So if you're not doing that, try it. It really works. If you really enjoyed tonight's session as well, it will be up on the YouTube channel, the Smash Go YouTube channel tomorrow afternoon. If you're not a subscriber there, go there and subscribe. Hit the little bell when you do subscribe, and then you'll get a notification to let you know that it's been uploaded once it's uploaded. And of course, there's a whole lot of other things in that channel which you're welcome to explore as well too. And if you think there is someone else that would enjoy this, send them to the YouTube channel as well, because of course it'll be up there forever and a day up there as well too. Now is a great time to save the chat. So I'm going to save the links that are in chat. Now's a good time to do that. You do that by clicking the 3 little dots at the bottom of chat. When you do save it, just remember to click the link that appears as well too. That'll take you directly to the document so you don't have to go and search it. All right, well, that's it for this year. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here tonight. For those that have been here sort of through the year, thank you for being here through the year and participating and enjoying our sessions that we've had through the year. Go out and have a fabulous Christmas and New Year. Come back recharged and reset, ready to go again. Our next session will be on Tuesday, the 16th of January. So that's when we'll kick it off again. So until then, have a good Christmas season, and we'll see you next year. Thank you for tuning in and listening to the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast. You can also find me on social media and online. Just search for Business Owners Smashing It Online and Nick Cree, spelled Nikree, all one word. If you like this and want to hear more, subscribe now. Until next time, don't be a slave to your business. Get your business working for you.